Attention, pilots, for Uncle Ned's Squadron. Get ready for fun and phone calls for model planes and an exciting story. We're all set to go with another regular meeting of Uncle Ned's Squadron. And here he comes, Uncle Ned.
Hi, pilots. Thank you, and welcome to another meeting. Thanks to you cadets at home for listening, and good luck when you try to answer the questions. I'll bet you can do just as good a job as our cadets in the ready room. Let's start the meeting out with our official slogan, and everybody yell. Here we go now, all together. Look! Fine, you sounded like the Dawn Patrol. Pay attention today, because a little later on I'm going to announce the name of the grand champion winner in our big emblem contest, the name of the cadet who gets to fly to Washington. But right now, let's meet and listen to our executive officer. Co-pilot Bill Grisky, will you introduce him?
Our executive officer today is Roger Stade, and he lives in Chicago. He knows the ropes, Uncle Ned, so he'll be a great big help to you. Prove that I'm right, Executive Officer Stade, by reading the orders of the day for the squadron.
Pay close attention to the story in the hangar flying so you can solo and win planes. And be sure to accomplish and remember the mission for the week. Join the squadron today for sure if you're not an official member yet. Golly, these planes ever neat. That is all.
Well, Executive Officer Roger Stade, that was a fine job. And here's an armful of fun. A great big monogram stunt model. It has a 35-inch wingspan. It's easy to build, and boy, how it flies. It's a beautiful plane built by Monogram. And here's something to make it zip. A powerful Olson and Rice gasoline engine. Just say Olson and Rice, and everyone knows you have a good engine. And say, if you've ever watched a bunch of young teenagers in action, you've probably often said, where do they get all that energy? Well, the shocking part is that while these youngsters burn up so much energy, they need to replace it continually. And 3/4 of them do not eat enough energy-making foods to keep them going properly. That's the alarming figure shown in a recent study made by a leading state university. The answer, of course, is properly balanced diets, full of energy-packed foods. And for energy snacks, nothing can beat a big double Peter Paul Mounds bar. Make sure your youngsters have Mounds for a mid-morning or mid-afternoon pickup. Have one yourself between meals to ward off that let-down feeling. You just can't enjoy a finer, more satisfying candy. Mounds have that true coconut flavor that makes them America's favorite chocolate-covered coconut candy bar. Keep full of pep and energy by keeping Peter Paul Mounds always handy.
This is F-74 to UNS Control Tower. F-74 to UNS Control Tower. Over.
This is Uncle Ned in UNS Control Tower. Go ahead, F-74.
F-74 to Uncle Ned. F-74 to Uncle Ned. What's the mission for the week? What's the mission for the week?
All pilots, stand by. The mission for the week is wake up. Wake up, be wide awake, be alert. When you're called in the morning, jump right up and be ready to go. Get your full share of each day by being awake right from the start. Sleepyheads miss a lot every day. They don't get started until late. It's just like a race. If you start running when the signal is given, your chances of winning are pretty good. But if you stumble around and get a late start, you haven't got a chance. This mission is important, pilots. It's wake up. Pilots, what's the mission for the week? Remember the mission and accomplish it. Be sure to remember it because each week John Cowan, our chief navigator, calls 2 members of the squadron on the phone, and they can win fine planes by telling him what the mission is. During the past week, he called Dennis Walker of 525 West 118th Street here in Chicago, and Richard Locke of 2327 West Superior Street, also in Chicago. Now, it may be your turn for a phone call, so remember the mission. Co-pilot Grisky, brief the boys and girls on how to join the squadron, will you? And tell them to join right away.
I sure will, Uncle Ned. But I thought you were going to tell us who the grand champion winner is, the emblem contest, you know.
I am, but we're saving the best until last. I'll announce the name after a while.
Well, I'm anxious to find out who the lucky cadet is. And I'm also anxious to have you join the squadron, every one of you. Here are the directions. They're easy. Just follow them and you'll be a member in a hurry. Get a postcard and write your name, age, and address and phone number on it. Mail the card to Uncle Ned, WMAQ, Chicago 54, Illinois. Now, that's all it takes. Just as soon as we hear from you, we'll put your name on our official phone list, so you'll have a chance at one of the 5 phone calls we make to members each week. And we'll send you the official membership card. So do this today. Get a postcard and put the information on it, your name, age, address, and phone number, and mail it to Uncle Ned, WMAQ, Chicago 54, Illinois, and you'll be an official member.
All right. Oh, say, that's the signal. That's the signal for a jackpot question. Oh, let's take the phone and find out who our operator is called. Hello. Hello, this is Uncle Ed. We all want to know what your name is and where you live. Jim DeYoung? Jim, what town? St. Anne, Illinois. Well, Jim, you and Robert Radel, one of the cadets from the Ready Room, will both have a chance to answer the jackpot question. Here's how it works. The one who answers the question wins all the planes in the jackpot hangar. If you both know the answer, then you'll divide the planes. But if neither one can answer it, we'll put another plane in the hangar, and they'll keep building up in there until someone wins them all. There are 2 planes in the hangar now, and here is the question. Get set. This is the 50th anniversary of the airplane. It all started 50 years ago when the Wright brothers flew their first plane at Kitty Hawk. Jim DeYoung, you answer first. What state is Kitty Hawk in? All right, Jim, what do you say, Robert Radel? Do you know? Can you tell me? Can you tell me, Robert Radel, right now? You're going to get a plane for trying, Robert Radel. Jim DeYoung, you're right. You said North Carolina. You won the jackpot. 2 planes will be mailed to you. And next week we start the jackpot all over again with 2 more planes. Robert Radel, you're going to get a plane for trying. That's the important thing. Jim, I enjoyed talking to you. You're a good cadet. Keep listening now, will you? Because we're going to do some hangar flying. Then we'll solo. Goodbye, Jim. Goodbye. Your planes will be mailed to you. Oh, boy, he's excited. You know, I was talking to a den of Cub Scouts a couple of weeks ago, and they asked me a lot of questions about automatic pilots. So let's have a hangar flying session about autopilots. First, what is an automatic pilot? Well, it's an electrical device that can be attached to an airplane, and it'll actually fly the plane automatically. Once the plane has left the ground, the pilot can turn on the autopilot, and it'll do most of the hard work for him. Automatic pilots have a nickname. They're called George. When a pilot says George is doing it, he means that the autopilot is on and flying the plane. Autopilots can make a plane turn, climb, glide, go straight and level. In fact, an autopilot can make a plane do just about everything that a live pilot can make it do. Only really, an autopilot usually does a smoother job than a live pilot can. Automatic pilots are especially good in rough air or in bad instrument weather. Now, one little part of the autopilot makes the whole thing work. It's small, but it's called the brain of the autopilot. It's the amplifier. Automatic pilots are pretty expensive. That's why more small planes don't use them. They cost installed from $5,000 on up. They're small. They only weigh about 40 pounds. Remember, the autopilot can be turned on and off by the pilot. He controls it. Now, let's turn George on in solo right after this announcement.
Thirsty?
Mm-hmm.
Fresh up.
Uh-huh.
Fresh up with 7-Up, the all-family drink. Fresh up with 7-Up, 7-Up, 7-Up. Big folks, small folks, all folks do. Fresh up with 7-Up, 7-Up, 7-Up. You like it, it like you. 7-Up, 7-Up, 7-Up. 7-Up, 7-Up, 7-Up.
He said,
Jane, I had a dream, dear.
she said, oh, a dream of me?
Dreamed about a perfect team, dear. 7-Up and popcorn.
Gee.
Fresh up with 7-Up, 7-Up, 7-Up. Big folks, small folks, all folks do. Fresh up with 7-Up, 7-Up, 7-Up. You like it, it like you.
Crystal clear, sparkling 7-Up is the all-family drink. So pure, so good, so wholesome for everyone. Buy a family supply of 7-Up. Get a 24-bottle case.
Fresh up with 7-Up, 7-Up, 7-Up. You like it, it like you.
Now, co-pilot Grisk, you send the first cadet down to solo on this question. Here it is. About how much do automatic pilots cost? About how much do automatic pilots cost? Look at the hands in the ready room. What were you going to...
$5,000 on up.
That's absolutely right. $5,000 now. In a loud voice now, tell us your name. Come in right close. What's your name?
Cadet Bradley Bellamy.
All right, Bradley, how old are you and where do you live?
I'm 15. I live at 2628 Green Bay Road, Evanston, Illinois.
It's real good to see you in the ready room, and we're starting out with a fine prize, a Herkimer OK Cub engine. Herkimer engines are guaranteed and tested. Believe me, they're good. Our executive officer, Roger Stade, has it for you. I have another question now for another cadet. Come right up here. Who controls the autopilot?
The pilot.
That's right. The live pilot controls the autopilot. Fine. In a loud voice now, tell us your name.
Kenneth McAfee.
Kenny, how old are you?
9.
You look like you'd be a good bomber pilot to me. Do you live here in Chicago?
Yes.
Well, will you join with me right now in a great big welcome to the entire Cub Scout Pack 3264, the Austin Pack 3264 from Chicago, Illinois. They're here in the ready room. We're glad to see them. You're a Cub Scout, aren't you? Are you a member of that pack?
No.
Well, you're a member of another pack. I'm glad that you're a Cub Scout. You answered the question, and here's a fine model, a monogram Speedy-Built model. Monogram models have lots of plastic parts, and they're easy to build. Our executive officer has it for you. You're going to like it. I have another question now and another prize for a good cadet. Here he comes right now. What is the nickname for the autopilot?
George.
That's right, George. Let George do it. We want to meet you, so tell us your
My
name.
name is Gerald Burns, and I live at 757 Montrose, and I'm 11.
And you're always going to come to the ready room, I hope. Come down often. You're always welcome. Here's a plane that's exact in every detail. It's a Hawk Plastic MiG-15. It's a real scale model. Our executive officer has it for you over there. You're going to like it. You betcha. All right, fine. How about our wingman? Do we have a wingman this morning? Oh, say.
Yes, that's the wingman on the phone, Uncle Ned, and he's ready to go to work with his flight leader, who is Larry Whitaker of 4840 Madison, Chicago.
Well, let me take the phone and find out who he is and where he lives. You'll remember, cadets, last week we had a little trouble with the phones in the studio, and I didn't know for sure whether we were going to have them this morning or not. I'll get that phone now. Hello? Hello, this is Uncle Ned. All of us in the ready room want to know what your name is and where you live, so tell us your name. Watkins Cantillon. Watkins, what's the name of your town? Dubuque, Iowa. I fly into Dubuque a lot. Well, Watkins, you and your flight leader can win a lot of planes, and I hope you do. Here's your flight leader, Larry Whitaker, to say hello to you and wish you luck. Larry, say hello to Watkins out there, will you?
Hello.
All right, now here's how it works, fellas. I'll ask you 3 questions, and you'll get 1 plane apiece for the first answer, 2 for the second, and 3 apiece for the third. You can win a total of 6 planes each if you answer all of the questions. And here's the best part. Either one or both of you can answer them. You can work together on the answers. All set? Are you set out there in Dubuque? Are you set here in the ready room? All right, then, here is the first question. This is easy. Just choose the correct answer. Runway lights are white, red, green, or blue. Runway lights. Give me a color. One of those colors. Come on, fellas. What color are they? White, red, green, or blue. What color? White is right. All right, fine. Watkins Cantillon out in Dubuque. You had me a little worried there for a minute. Now for 2 planes apiece. What are the girls called who work on the airlines and take care of the passengers? They serve the meals and collect the tickets.
Stewardess.
Stewardesses, absolutely. You're right, Larry Whitaker. Fine. A top flight jig time and a monogram super kit apiece. Here's the big one for 3 planes each. When the airmail first started, the stamps cost 24 cents apiece. They only cost how much today?
3.
6 cents. All right, Watkins Cantillon, you're right out in Dubuque. 6 cents apiece. 3 more fine models for each of you. Wingman Watkins Cantillon of Dubuque and flight leader Larry Whitaker. You both did a fine job, and you won a pile of good planes. Yours are right there on the bench, flight leader Larry Whitaker. Help yourself. And Wingman Watkins, we'll mail yours to you. I enjoyed talking to you, Watkins, and keep listening now, will you, for the names of the 3 winners in the last week of our big emblem contest. Goodbye, Watkins. Goodbye.
And here they are, Uncle Ned. Here are the 3 winners and their prizes. The 3rd place winner is Bill Conley, and he lives at 216 Pearl Street, Winamac, Indiana. His flashy silver-coated Skyroplane is in the mail and on to him, and he'll like it because it flies high way up to 600 feet in the sky, and it sounds like a real plane, too. The 3rd place winner is Bill Conley, and he lives at 216 Pearl Street, Winamac, Indiana. His flashy silver-coated skyroplane is in the mail and on to him, and he'll like it because it flies high way up to 600 feet in the sky, and it sounds like a real plane, too. Now, the second place winner is Melvin Andrew Skvarla, and he lives at 9810 Avenue M, Chicago. He wins that fine, big, special Christmas kit of 6 monogram models. They're speedy-built models, easy to build and fun to own. 6 wonderful monogram models in our special Christmas box. And here's the name of that lucky boy who won the first prize. In the minds of our judges, he sent in the best emblem of the week. He's David Gray of Route 2, Box 29, New Lisbon, Wisconsin. And like all the other first-place winners, he'll receive a rugged, all-plastic WMAQ Aeromite gasoline-powered plane. The Aeromite is complete. It's a U-control plane ready to fly, and boy, how it flies.
And cadets, in just a little while, I'm going to tell you who won the grand prize. I'll tell you who gets to fly to Washington, D.C. and back on a big Transworld Airline Constellation. But right now, co-pilot Bill Grisky is going to invite you all to the ready room.
Yes, come down and see us, cadets. You're always welcome, and we'll always have a prize for you. You'll find us on the 19th floor of the Merchandise Mart in the NBC studios in Chicago. The doors open at 8:30, and they open on fun and prizes for all. So come down when you can, because we'd like to meet you. And now, Uncle Ned, it's story time.
This is a story of Bill Davis, Navy pilot. Bill Davis shook his head. Pieces of glass dropped from his shoulders and tumbled onto his lap. The rushing wind whistled around his head. His engine sputtered and coughed. The canopy over his head was shot out, but the rest of the plane was all right. The instruments danced crazily on the panel. The engine couldn't last too much longer. He grabbed his mic and shouted his location. He was at 9,000 feet and about 60 miles from the aircraft carrier. The enemy who shot at me has disappeared. He thought he got me, but I'm still limping through the sky. I don't think I can make it back to the carrier. I'll have to ditch in the ocean. I'll get as close as I can before I hit the water. If anyone hears me, alert the ship, then try to find me and give me cover as I go down. He slammed the mic back on its hook and grabbed the throttle. The engine shook like a leaf. He wasn't losing too much altitude, though. He was down to about 8,000 feet. Airspeed 200. Bill wondered if anyone heard his call for help. He said a fast, silent prayer that no more enemy planes would spot him. He'd be a sitting duck if they did. A big puff of black smoke rolled back toward him. The edges were orange. Fire! Bill dropped the nose fast. The smoke billowed out. Then suddenly, the flame seemed to go out, but the engine coughed and spit until he thought the wings would shake off. Bill grabbed the stick tightly in both hands and fought to control the trembling plane. He'd covered about 10 miles. 50 more to go. He was down to about 7,000 feet. He jerked his head to the side. A plane was bearing down on him. This is it. I'm a sitting duck for him. No, it wasn't an enemy plane. It was one of Bill's buddies. His intercom came to life. Bill grinned as he listened to the steady voice of Ted Trayer. You're not smoking too bad now, Bill, and I can't see any flames. Stick with it all the way. The carrier has been alerted, and a helicopter has started out. I'll stay right beside you. Go easy, and I think you can make it back to the deck. Bill acknowledged the call. Land on the deck with a crippled plane? I'm not sure I've got the nerve. If I miss my approach, I won't be able to go around and try again. I'll have to be perfect the first time. The deck will be bobbing up and down in the waves. It'll seem shorter than ever. Maybe I'll hit the back end of the ship. Maybe my tower will fail completely just as I'm about to set her down, and I'll crash on the fantail. Sweat poured from Bill's forehead. His hands were slippery. He squeezed the stick hard and tried to hold the plane steady as the engine tried to shake itself loose from the nose. Ted's voice boomed over to Bill. That was a rough one, Bill, but you didn't drop much altitude. Hang in there, Bill. We're getting closer every second. Hang in there, fella. You're down to 5,000 feet, but don't worry about it yet. Keep her going, Bill. We'll make it. Sweat crowded into the corners of Bill's eyes and made them smart. I'm not going to try it, Ted. I can't do it. I'm going to ditch in the water and hope the helicopter can pick me up. He looked down. The water looked cold and hard. Don't be foolish, Bill. Keep her in the air as long as you can. That water is cold. You'd freeze in a few minutes. We've only got about 20 more miles to go. We'll see the ship in a minute. Hang in there, boy. Hang in there. Bill's hands were trembling. He grabbed the stick tighter. He smiled to himself. That's what I told my students not to do. I used to kid them about trying to squeeze the stick in two, and here I am doing it myself. Ted's voice pounded at him again. There's the ship, Bill, right ahead. See that big blotch in the water? That's her, Bill. Hang in there, boy. We'll make it. Bill looked down at the water and yelled back to Ted. Here comes the whirlybird, Ted. Down there, skipping over the waves. Boy, that windmill looks good to me. I'm going to ditch, Ted. The helicopter can pick me up. I'm afraid I'll miss the deck if I try to land on the ship. I'm losing airspeed and altitude all the time. The smoke is getting blacker and little tongues of flame keep shooting out. I'm going in the water, Ted. Follow me down. Ted roared across in front of Bill's plane. Don't do it, Bill. Don't do it. We're almost there. Look at the ship. You can see it plainly. You can make it, Bill. Set up a good long approach and try it. Line up carefully and you can make it. If you see that you can't, you can change your mind at the last minute. But don't ditch now, Bill. Look at the carrier. She's swinging around into the wind for you. Come on, boy. You can make it. The carrier was getting closer every second. Bill glanced at his shaking altimeter. 2,000 feet. I'll try it. I might not make it, but I'll try. I'll have to be right the first time. Keep going, engine. Keep on sputtering, but get me there. Ted pulled away from Bill's plane. The helicopter has been listening to us, Bill. He's turning around, and he'll be hovering close to the ship. I'm pulling away. I'll be down there, too. Take it easy. You're doing fine. Set up your approach and put her right on the deck. Good luck. 1,000 feet. Bill could see the men on the deck. It was cleared for him. The helicopter was hovering at the back of the bobbing carrier. Sweat poured from his hands and face. I've got to be right. If I ever made a perfect landing, I've got to do it now. The water was close. The waves were high. Airspeed 140. The ship looked big. Bill made a shallow turn and lined up with the rolling deck. I wish the deck would hold still. I wish the waves were flat so the deck didn't move. There's the helicopter. There's Ted. The back of that ship looks awful hard. I hope I don't hit it. Flames again. I can't see through the smoke. I'll miss. Ted's voice boomed in. You're doing fine, Bill. Your approach is swell. You're going to make it like nothing was wrong. You're almost there. Steady, boy, steady. Bill's eyes burned from the smoke and sweat. The deck rose up and down. He reached for the throttle. The engine sputtered and coughed. There's the landing officer. He's waving me in. I must be all right. Another 500 feet. I'm too low. I'll hit the fantail. No, I'm not. I'm just right. I hope. Keep sputtering, engine. Keep sputtering. Just a little more. Just a little more. I've got to turn a little to the left or I'll hit the bridge. He's signaling me over. Now, I'm all right. Keep going, engine. Keep going. Bill held the throttle tightly. I've got to cut my power just when my wheels reach for the deck. Hold still, deck. Hold still. The deck loomed up big. Bill cut his power. The wheels touched. He was safe. Bill Davis, Navy pilot.
Oh, Uncle Ned, those carrier pilots were just about the best. And here are some of our best cadets ready to solo right now.
Well, let's start them down the deck with this question, and stand by at the phone, please, for our cross-country call. Here's the first question. How far was Bill from the aircraft carrier when he was hit? Can you tell me?
140.
I'm sorry, that was his airspeed, but you're going to get a Jim Walker ceiling walker. You'll have a lot of fun. Here comes a cadet in a kind of a flight jacket and a real fine hat. How far was Bill from the aircraft carrier when he was hit?
60 miles.
You're right, 60 miles, absolutely. You look like you'd be a good little fighter pilot. In a loud voice, now tell us your name.
Charles Morelli.
Charlie, how old are you?
10.
Listen, you win a big, fast, Strombecker solid model of the famous B-47 Stratojet. It's an exact scale model. Our executive officer, Roger Stade, has it for you. I have another prize now for the answer to another question. What was Bill going to do instead of trying to land on the ship?
He was going to dive in the ocean.
That's right, ditch or land on the ocean. Fine. Come right back up here now because we want to know your name, and then I'll tell you what your prize is. What's your name?
George Kersey.
Where do you live, George?
6142 Evans.
How old are you?
13.
Here's the top flight jig time plane. Remember, all top flight jig time planes are guaranteed to fly. Can I have another cadet now because I've got another question? All right, Bill was afraid to...
Here he is.
Fine, bring him right up here. Bill was afraid to land on the ship because he might hit what part of it? Remember? He might hit what part of it?
The deck.
Well, no, not the deck. That's what he wanted to hit. He was afraid he might hit the... A Jim Walker seating walker for you for trying. Here comes the cadet on the double. Bill was afraid to land in the ship because he might hit what part of it?
The fantail.
That's right, the fantail or the back. Fine. Your name, please.
Bob Jesko.
Bob, here's another of these fine Herkimer OK Cub engines. You can't beat a Herkimer engine. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. All right, fine.
Here's the cross-country call, Ned. Here he is, the cross-country pilot, all set to win some planes.
Well, hand me the phone, please, and I'll find out who he is. Hello? Hello, this is Uncle Ned. Tell us what your name is and where you live. We want to get acquainted with you. Eugene Cohen. Where, Chicago? All right, fine, Eugene. We have a make-believe cross-country flight lined up for you with 4 fine planes as prizes if you complete the trip. You'll pretend to take off from our airport here in Chicago and fly to Milwaukee, then on to Racine, Wisconsin, and from there to Hammond, Indiana. I'll ask you 3 questions, and you'll win a plane as you answered each one. If you answered all 3, you'll get a bonus plane, a Jim Walker Fire Baby. Here we go with the first question. What do you pull on a parachute if you want it to open? The ripcord is right. Fine. A swell monogram super kit will be mailed to you. Now on to Racine and this question. Where are the people located who give a pilot landing and takeoff instructions? In the control tower, right to Comet Structosteen in the Strombecker Solid. Here's the one for the bonus, the Jim Walker Fire Baby. A jet engine has to have a constant supply of something. Oxygen, he says. All right, you're absolutely right. A Jim Walker Fire Baby, complete with controls, engine, and everything. Eugene Cohen, you're a good cross-country pilot, and I enjoyed visiting with you. You were a fast one. We'll mail the planes to you, and I hope you have fun with them. Stand by now, because I'm going to announce the name of the grand champion winner in our emblem contest. Listen closely and find out who gets to fly to Washington, D.C. Goodbye, Eugene. Goodbye. All right, here's the name, cadets. Listen carefully now. Here he is. Yes, this cadet has won the trip of a lifetime. Here is his name, Edward Newman, and he lives at 15514 Lexington Avenue, Harvey, Illinois. The arrangements for his trip will be made to suit his convenience, and after the trip, we'll have him down to tell us all about it. Oh, is he going to be a happy boy?
Uncle Ned, say, I wish I'd have had a chance like that when I was a young fella. Say, there's another prize left. It's a Fire Baby.
That's for the cadet who can tell me from memory the 5 qualifications for membership in the Squadron.
I have just the boy for you. His name is Bill Mullenauer, and he lives at 3430 West 60th Place in Chicago.
Step up here, Bill Mullenauer, and win this Fire Baby. Take off on those qualifications, and good luck.
Obey established authorities, observe the rules of health, promote safety in the air and on the ground, keep soft, clean, and alert, accomplish every mission.
Bill, you did the job and you won. Here is your Jim Walker Fire Baby, complete with a powerful engine. It's a supercharged Royal Spitfire engine. The Fire Baby is almost all built for you. You can have it flying this afternoon. There's an extra wing in the box, too, and you can fly the plane either with 1 wing or 2. The control handle, cables, everything is there in the box. Have fun, Bill. And cadets, I hope you all have fun this coming week. Be sure it's good, clean fun. I hope you're in hand next week. I'll be expecting you. Until next week, then, this is Uncle Ned speaking for the entire crew and saying, so long, pilots!
Be sure you're on hand next Saturday for more phone calls, model planes, and another exciting story. They're yours for fun and adventure every week on Uncle Ned's Squadron! This is the NBC Radio Network.